Okay. Hello, hello. For those of you that are joining in, I am going to be doing a quick video for you guys. This is kind of, my headphones are dying. Yay. So it's going to be really quick. This is kind of what we do in my intensive, in my 12-week intensive. There's different topics, but there's different progressive topics as you go along, like, how to read nutrition labels and what are some things we need to be cautious of, and, how do we improve gut health? These are all different kinds of topics that we go over in the intensive, in addition to different mindset things that I do for my clients. But I wanted to record this video for you guys that are going to be watching. Here's my peanut. He's my little helper, because I feel like this is something important, and doing a live video and being able to stream this is just going to be too difficult. So let's go ahead and jump in. So why diets don't work and how food affects the brain. All right, so why do diets not work? Well, first and foremost, if you guys know, if you've ever been on a diet, you get bored eating the same things, right? It's not providing the right nutrients to your body because we're so focused on either calories or macros. We're cutting things out. We're feeling starving. We're feeling the sensation of starving. We're just not getting the right nutrients that our body needs. And we're really playing a guessing game. What do I know that I need? What do I know that I don't need? Well, we don't know that, right? We have to do an assessment to be able to figure those things out. And so usually what I do, just real quick, an assessment for whenever a client goes to onboard with me, we go through a full body assessment. It's a lot of yes and no questions like, do you get bloated after you eat? Do you feel that sometimes you wake up bloated? Do you have issues with spicy foods, whatever the case is? These are things that we look at. Do you have bad smelling farts? This is something that, is in the assessment, so that way we can kind of figure out where your body currently is and what needs to be adjusted. All right, but we're disillusioned by the idea of weight loss. Weight loss is a huge trend. It's been around for decades. Like, we're talking like 40 something years. Okay. And especially like even during the 80s, when it was like really hard to market these things, you couldn't promise, results and things like that. And we've gotten better at it, but we're disillusioned by the idea of weight loss. What does it mean for a person? Well, everybody's different, you know, and losing weight is really easy. You could starve yourself and lose weight, right? But when we're doing it in the right fashion, it becomes really hard. And then we think it's hard. And then, it's all this hard work and I can't do it, right? But it really isn't. It can be really easy when you're putting in the right work and the right tools, right? And it's effort, it's not hard work. Okay. So there's a lack of focus on physical activity. A lot of people are just trying to search for a diet plan and do a little bit of workouts, or they hate working out. They want to just focus on the food and not do the other. And then we're frustrated because, well, we can't eat our favorite foods, because most diets tell you, don't eat this, don't eat that, give up processed foods, no sugar, right? No alcohol, all these things. My clients actually can drink alcohol. We look at strategy planning for that as well. And then again, prepackaged foods, special diet foods can be expensive. Like if you have to be gluten-free or dairy-free. And I actually talked about that this morning on the call. That's not something that means healthy. If your idea of, being healthier is going from potato chips to veggie straws, you're in the wrong mindset. If your idea of being healthier is going from regular Oreos to gluten-free Oreos, you're in the wrong mindset, or dairy ice cream to dairy-free ice cream, right? It's in the wrong mindset, okay? So what my clients do for success, well, first and foremost, we focus on eating for your body's needs. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Obviously we focus on a strategy plan, creating a long-term strategy plan. We get the right nutrients and the right exercise for your body's needs so you can have consistent, lasting results. And then you know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But today I really want to focus in on just this big portion of eating for your body's needs, right? My clients do a food journal. All right, I got to know what you're eating. They log in their food in my app that I use. And so I can see it on a daily basis, but I got to know what you're eating, because I'm looking at your calorie intake, which I don't really care what it is. Remember, we're not here for counting. Some days they're doing 1,100, some days they're doing 1,600, some days they're even 800 to 900, but they're not starving themselves. They're very satisfied. Your body knows what it needs, okay? And when you're doing the right things, your stomach has these receptors where they're going to expand, but they're not going to get fat, right? You're not going to produce more visceral or subcutaneous fat, which is bad fat, right? You're actually just going to expand to a point of satisfaction. All right. But I'm checking their protein, their fats, their carbs, because these are things that they need to be eating. If they're not eating carbs, we have a problem. If they're very low in their protein, or they're not getting in the moderation that they need, we're going to have a problem, right? Or if they're taking in too much, they're going to have kidney issues, digestion issues. So we have to make for any adjustments, right? And then I'm checking for possible allergies that are going to pop up. You could have a food allergy that develops up to 3 days later or over a long period of time. These are markers that I look for, okay? So that's how they have success. So on another note, food affects the brain. The brain needs nutrients to function properly. Okay, it helps to release these neurotransmitters like, acetylcholine or dopamine. These are those high hits, right? Sugar does that, and it can be very addicting. Your dopamine is the addicting ones, right? Epinephrine, norepinephrine, GABA, histamine, serotonin. All these things can affect depression, your mood, and then what you're eating can really affect that in a good way or a bad way. All right. Feelings of vitality, sleep patterns depend on these neurotransmitters to be released. If you're struggling in these areas, it's probably because you need the 3 R's that we need to focus on, right? Restoring the gut health, rebalancing the hormones, and rebooting the metabolism. All right. And then again, certain ones can help with depression. And then, postural motor disturbances, like how quick are your reflexes, things like that. These are all things that food is going to affect in the body, things that we don't give credit to, right? We just think food sometimes is a way of getting it done and, oh, I got to eat or I'm going to die, right? Food affects your emotions. It changes the way that we think. We can either have positive emotions and be a happier person with less mood swings, less depression, less anxiety, less stress, even though we're in the midst of a whole bunch of stress, or we could have a negative day, right? Where it's blah, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Dude, ice cream will do that to me all the next day. I can't stand my thoughts the next day. I'm like, woe is me, pity the fool kind of thing, right? Our body receives nutrition, sends genetic information through the rest of the body, and it tells it how to produce whatever kind of function, either a good function or a bad function throughout the body, right? All of it depends on whatever is taken into the body. So if you're not getting in enough nutrients and you're starving it, you're making the body starve itself, it's trying to replenish whatever was left, and it's trying to store it because it goes into survival mode. And that's how we start to have joint aches and pains. We go down binge eating paths, we feel terrible about ourselves, all these feelings of self-doubt, all that kind of kicks in, right? Again, it affects our feelings. Are we feeling sad today, depressed? I just told you guys, ice cream will do that for me, right? Pizza will do that for me. I really have to be cautious of my emotions the next day because my brain is receiving that as food, as a way of informing itself to do something. And if it's negative, then it's going to have negative repercussions, right? So fatigue or feelings of happiness, right? So we want good responses, which means we're making healthier choices. And there's a ton of studies out there that have proven this. You guys can go look all those up. All right. Cravings. Brain activity patterns to that of addiction. This is where those dopamine hits are that I told you about. Prior exposure activates the brain reward center. So it releases dopamine, like sugar does that. Any good feelings, like in my business, I'll have dopamine hits. We know this through social media. Let's put it this way. If somebody likes your post, haha's your post, loves your post. But if somebody has their comments that they have to go make on there, we go into this negative downward spiral, right? But when we're getting likes and we're getting engagement, then we have these dopamine hits. All right. Social media is the same way that food affects the body. We can be addicted to junk food. All right. It can cause feelings of guilt, remorse, anxiety, fatigue, depression, mood swings, inability to concentrate. I've seen this in a lot of kids in my mama's labs, where the ADHD kid comes in and they're struggling with school and trying to pick up their grades, all those kinds of things, right? It becomes a vicious cycle. We crash, we eat again, spike, we crash, we eat again, that kind of thing, right? We got to break it. So how to break cravings? Well, first and foremost, you got to eat carbs, right? More complex carbs. We got to have good fats in there. We got to have balanced protein. These are things you guys know. You can go look this up on Google, right? You can go find that. Avocados are great for the brain. Great. Right? But we need to know what the key factor is and how to have the right ones for our body's needs, right? Where Susie Q may need avocados and tomatoes, right? Why does she need that? But Bobby Joe can't have that. That's not what Bobby Joe's body needs. Bobby Joe needs butter or coconut oil, right? Well, how do we know what are the right things? That's where I come in. That's where the experience of the coach comes in. And that's what I do for my clients in those self-assessments, right? I mean, in the self-assessment, in the full body assessment, we have to figure out what those things are and what's missing and how do we bring it back to the body. All right, so what does a well-balanced diet look like? Again, we know this, right? It's got to include carbs, it's got to include proteins and fats, it's got to include veggies. You don't have to eat what you don't like. My clients, look, I don't like Brussels sprouts. You will not catch me eating Brussels sprouts. If somebody makes it in a new way, I'll put it, but it's not going to be my favorite. Okay. And then remember, you got to get a balance of nutrients every single day. All right, we want to make sure that we're getting these nutrients every single day. We want food that's going to affect the mind and the body so that it promotes healing, right? If you get so like diabetics, I know they go through struggles with the bodies being able to heal. But when you get rid of the diabetes, you're going to have better healing, right? Better emotions, better behaviors. All right. So if you're ready to jump on board, this is something that's, been interesting to you. I'm actually going to try. I would love you guys' feedback because I want to know how this is going to be moving forward. This is going to be something I kind of want to add in like once a month to you guys. But if this is something that you're ready to jump on board with, you want the best and the quickest solution to your pesky weight loss problem, like I keep getting in the cycle, I don't know how to break it, all that kind of stuff, then email me back, tell me that you're in, and let's figure out what's going to be the best plan for you. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day and let me know your thoughts.